Hey there everybody, Mr. Lewis here, ready to kick off our exploration of ethnic geography in AP HuG today. And the way we're going to do that is by taking a closer look at the ethnic breakdown of the United States of America. And although just over a third of American citizens identify as European American, and we've talked at length about the impact of European culture in the United States in terms of language, religion, or otherwise, there are many other ethnic groups that make up a significant share of the U.S. population, the largest of them being Hispanic Americans. Hispanic Americans make up about 17% of the U.S. population. We tend to find the largest clusters of Hispanic Americans in the southwest region of the country. States such as Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. California by itself has about a third of the overall Hispanic American population. So this southwest region has a large share of the Hispanic American population, largely due to the fact that it is in close proximity to not just Mexico, but also the rest of Spanish-speaking Latin America. So the region's cultural landscape has largely been shaped by Hispanic American culture. The second largest group we find in the United States is African Americans. African Americans make up about 12% of the overall U.S. population, and the largest clusters of African Americans are found in this southeast region of the country, states such as Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. And this actually traces back to the slave trade. So many African Americans' ancestors were, through forced migration, brought from western parts of Africa across the Atlantic Ocean to many of those states that you see there. The third largest ethnic group in the United States is Asian Americans. Asian Americans make up about 5% of the U.S. population. We tend to find the largest clusters of Asian Americans along the West Coast. States like California, Oregon, and Washington. And more specifically, in metropolitan areas, cities such as San Francisco, LA, and Seattle up in Washington there. And a big reason for this is the area's proximity to Asia. And many Asian immigrants initially settled in some of these regions along the West Coast, establishing ethnic enclaves along the way. The last group we need to talk about today is American Indians, Native Americans, who make up about 2% of the overall U.S. population. Many Native American reservations or American Indian reservations, or in other words, where we tend to find the largest clusters of American Indians today, are in the western regions of the country, basically west of the Mississippi River, in states like New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas. That's where we find many of the largest reservations that still exist today. And of course, on those reservations, we're going to find the largest clusters of American Indians overall. But don't forget about Alaska or Hawaii. Alaska has a very large population of Native Americans or American Indians. They also have many Asian Americans, as does Hawaii. So don't forget about those states. Lots of ethnic diversity there compared to the contiguous United States. And finally, one last note, remember that a general rule is that urban areas or cities tend to have greater diversity, not just in terms of ethnicity, but also race and religion. So take a look at the maps that are provided in the notes with this section and check out the diversity in places like Chicago, New York City, the cities along the coast of Florida, Houston, and some of those cities that I mentioned along the West Coast. All right, that's it for your introduction to ethnic geography in the United States today. Check out the checkpoint and buzz to go with this section and reach out if you have any questions. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.